We're live.
Are we?
Oh my goodness gracious. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome. Wow, phew. We're having some issues. We're having technical difficulties.
Yeah, somebody thought I killed you.
No, I wasn't killed. Thank goodness.
Not today.
Now I am having problems with this camera here. This is my GoPro. I don't know what's going on with it. Maybe I need to shut that off and redo it. I don't know. So we were having all sorts of problems before we got on. So this is why we don't have our countdown. We'll just get right into it. So appreciate everybody being here. Don't know why people gave us thumbs down, but thank you for those too. Let's see here. Decided to go live on a Friday night to talk about Corvette because on our Tuesday night live streams, people decided they want to always talk about
the Corvette or the C8. Well, mainly the C8.
Yeah, mainly C8. Yep. So we're going to talk about Corvette tonight. Corvettes. I love Corvettes. Got to do a museum delivery today.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a short museum delivery. That was sad. It was sad to see the museum delivery so short because the museum was closed to the public, even to the people who are doing museum deliveries. They can't go look through, which is sad.
So basically, you show up, you get an overview of your car, handed the keys, and out the door.
Yep, pretty much. They're very, very they're very sympathetic to it, right? So it was kind of interesting watching it today. So there was 5 or 6 different deliveries going on, and it was a little different atmosphere today down there. So it's kind of interesting. All right. So welcome back to Beyond the Showroom podcast. I'm Mike Davenport. This is my lovely wife, Andy. Yes, we said the name right. Welcome back. We're glad to have everybody here. So tonight we are talking all about.
Oh, I'm supposed to talk here?
Yeah, you can talk here.
Oh, we're talking all about Corvettes.
Corvettes. As you guys know, our live streams are I can't talk. I hope this is not another night like Tuesday that I can't talk. Our live streams are sponsored by Surfshark VPN. So when you are on an internet connection, you are giving out all your data, and it's any way possible to be taken, stolen, and used against you. So Surfshark VPN does not slow your internet speed down. It actually allows you to get more internet access, like on Netflix and stuff like that. So say you are in Canada and you want to watch American Netflix, you can do so. If you are searching for airline tickets or hotels, you could VPN to a different country and you can see their lower prices than what the US gets or Canada gets. So it's really cool and it's very minimal cost. And then the new feature they have with Surfshark is called HackLock, H-A-C-K, hack. It provides an extra layer of security. HackLock scans databases for possible email and password leaks. So for the people who are on the live stream, if you use the code ChevyDude with the link on the screen right now, which is surfshark.deals/ChevyDude, you enter that promo code, you get 83% off and a one-time extra month free subscription. So it's minimal cost to spend with Surfshark, and it'll outweigh the benefits and peace of mind you get with personal and private information. This podcast and live stream is all done over a VPN to protect my stuff that's going in here. So use the link in the description. Use code ChevyDude for these amazing savings. And thank you, Surfshark, for sponsoring our video and our podcast. So if you want to get your question 100% answered, our goal is to only be on for
about an hour.
So you can text it in to our text number, which is right there on the screen. Whoops, wrong one. Right there on the screen, 502-909-5192. Mrs. Chevy Dude watches those. And then super chats 100% get read all the time. So super chats coming in, we'll stop what we're basically doing and we'll go to those and get things done. So we appreciate everybody being here. And this is going to go out on the podcast. This wasn't something I normally would do on the podcast, but I figured, what the heck? We'll put it on the podcast. And if people like it on the podcast, we'll leave it there. And if not, then we won't ever do it again. It's that simple. You got our first question?
There's a lot of questions
coming
in.
Good.
But Let's just start with the biggest question, and that is the current 2020 production.
Oh, yeah. Why would anybody be worried about 2020 production?
Maybe because they want their car.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
You know.
So it's unfortunate that the 2020 production has been delayed multiple times, and I think a little bit of it is General Motors' fault. Some of it is not General Motors' fault, and I'm just being candid about it. And they don't like me talking candid and being transparent, then that's on them. But I'm giving information to you guys because you guys are looking for it, because we can't get it anywhere else. GM says they're going to be transparent to dealers. I don't think that they're really being that transparent to dealers, so I have to do a whole lot of work behind the scenes to try to get as much information as possible. So with that being said, the 2020 launch has kind of been foobarred. So GM, I think, is working really, really hard to undo that, but we hit the coronavirus, and that has completely screwed everything up. So, I mean, we're looking at maybe another month delay. I mean, it's just crazy. So, I have one order going in. I got one allocation this week, which is absolutely crazy. I was guaranteed 125, and I knew I would get extra allocations, which I did. I've received extra allocations in week 3 of orders that don't count towards my 125 allocations. I don't think I'm gonna get 125 allocations. So, with that being said, if we're down closed another month, that's another month that we don't have production. So, and then what's been going on is April 9th, the week of April 9th, I think that was a Monday, I was supposed to have several cars built. Only one of my cars got built that week. So GM's,
I think you're talking March 9th, because
March
April's
9th,
next
yes,
month.
yes, March 9th, yes,
We're not
March
to
9th,
April
3-9,
yet.
3-9, yes. So the production's been slowed down quite a bit, and that could be various things that I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it could be supplies, it could be parts, stuff like that. So one of the things that I did not put on my car was the exposed carbon fiber ground effects. So the reason I didn't put those on is because I was afraid that there would be supply issues, which proven to be that there are supply issues. So that's why I didn't put those on my car up front. Why I don't have the ground effects on my car yet. We have some coming. We'll disclose those in a video soon. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting what's going on. So hopefully they can get this going back on. But I would say I'm still monitoring it. And to the people who have paid their deposits to me, I update them on a regular basis to let them know what's going on. But to everybody else, it's just be patient. Bank on getting to 2021. Just plain and simple. Bank on getting to 2021. So September is when 2021 starts. I think with GM coming out saying that they're going to allow us to put in 2021 orders in May now instead of June, that's kind of a sign. Again, they're not telling us this stuff. They're not being transparent in any way, shape, or form. But this is a sign that we'll probably start 2021 production on time, and the 2020 is going to be cut short. So your 2020 car could possibly be a 2021. So bank on that. And let's talk about that. Thank you, Rick, for answering that question. I didn't want to say it on camera. Let's talk about 2021 pricing, because that's the biggest thing too. I don't anticipate a price increase. I really don't. I think General Motors, and this is a good thing for General Motors, is that they do have all these issues with the 2020 launch. It stinks, but it is what it is. We've got to deal with the hand. We got the union stuff. We have coronavirus stuff. But I don't think they're going to raise pricing on 2021. I don't think they can possibly raise pricing on 2021 because there's so many people going to be disappointed on getting the car in the first place. We've been waiting since July on the car. The anticipation on this car is so high. So I really don't think that we're going to see any price increase. And if we do see a price increase, it's going to be very, very minimal. And I've said the very, very minimal thing from day one, even when people started throwing out rumors that that if you don't buy an $85,000 car, whatever the number was, that GM's losing money on this car, that they're going to raise it up substantially, exponentially, as I can't even say it, substantially. I thought I was going to use a big word there. That's cool. But they're going to raise it substantially to get things going. Well, that's not the case. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to raise it all that much. So I see one of my C8 customers in here, and I want to answer his question. I'm going to go to my C8 list and kind of tell where he's at. So all my customers I keep on a list, and currently we have just shy of 300 people on this list. I have orders up to 47, and that's where we're at right now. So only 125 of those with C8s. If you want to ask another question, go for it.
Well, I've seen a couple of things about asking if you have a cancellation list for your 2020.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
And, mainly if you're on the list for 2020 Corvette and somebody cancels, the next person just moves up.
Yeah. So to Brock Phillips, because he's in here, he's a customer of mine. You're number 59 on the list, and I've got about 45 of my list captured so far, so we're close. My guess would be that you probably will. Oh, I got more than 49. I got about 50. So you're number 59. Number 56 is waiting, so he's out. And then I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure that you're going to get a 2020, but we'll just have to watch. We'll have to see. I'll keep you in the loop for sure. So yeah, what she said with the cancellation list, there is no cancellation list. If you say, hey Mike, can you put me on your cancellation list? I'm going to say no, very respectfully, but no, because I have so many people who have given me $1,000 deposit. If I have a special order car or a special car, maybe somebody backed out of a deal, which hasn't happened yet, knock on wood, but say somebody can't get financed on a car, stuff like that, then the only thing I do is communicate with those people first. I pretty much tell them, I give them 24 hours. Within 24 hours that car is still available, then I will produce it on social media. But in a nutshell, the best way to do it is put your $1,000 deposit in at ownac8.com. And that's when you will know and be notified of a cancellation or an available unit. So I had this, what's internally called a STEMI unit, pre-production car, and that sold within 20 seconds. I text all 300 people. I said, I have a pre-production car available. If your car's at 2,000 status, we can't do that. Well, I didn't think somebody was going to actually buy a second car, but that does not, I told them that they couldn't change their order to this. And within 20 seconds, Complete Street Andrew bought that car as a second car. So that's what, and another one too, we'll talk about Z06, because Z06 is a huge topic. And Z06, I believe, is going to be a 2022 model year launch. So I think sometime in early to middle 2021. So we're still 9+ months away. They're going to release that car, and they're going to then tell us when that's going to happen. So, but I would say 2022 before a Z06 is announced.
And we had Jose ask if the Z06 list is the same as your 2020 list, I guess, if you want to call it that. But the Z06 list is different.
Yes, correct. So when I take a deposit for a car, early on it was just the C8 list, right? So everybody wanted a first year C8. There's no other car available. So what's happened is a few of those people were like, hey, listen, I want a Z06. So I started the Z06 list, which is myz06.com. And that's $1,000 deposit. And you sit on that list and wait, just like we do on everything else. So with that being said, if you want to be on that list, just go to myz06.com, z06.com, and put your $1,000 deposit down, and that puts you in the number order of list. So if you put in a deposit today, March 27th, and then everything's done, coded by time, then perfect. That time slot is guaranteed. Now, if I mentioned somebody's waiting on a car, and I think Brock put his deposit in July. So that customer right before Brock put his deposit in on July. If he wants to move to a Z06, then he would move over to the Z06 with his time spot. So if you're number 30 today and I move that customer over, then you would move to number 31, because that customer's not so much cutting in front of line. He just decided to move to a list, and that's his obligation to do so. It's his money, and I'm not going to tell somebody they can't do that. But I think that's fair with everybody as well. I don't think there's anything goofy. It's like, oh nope, if you didn't take the C8 list on the C8 and you're on the C8 list, you got to move to the back of the line. That's not fair. And nobody who would ever put their money down would ever expect that. So that's what I do. I try to be fair with everybody, and your time is what you're buying. So you put a deposit in July of 2019, whatever you want to buy a car, you have the first right of refusal. So they had the opportunity to buy a C8. They said no. And so the next thing they have is first right of refusal for 2021. And then they have first right of refusal to a Z06. And if they want to do a ZR1 down the road, which is probably 5 years or 6 years down the road, then they can wait that long as well. So I had people on the C8 list from 6 years ago. So, and that person just now put their order in. They were just being lackadaisical, but they had that right? So they came up to me and said, okay, Mike, I'm ready to put my order in. And we put their order in.
Okay. So one person was asking, any info on the 2021 changes? Do we anticipate any changes with them taking orders starting in May and not having announced anything yet?
I don't think we'll see any changes, but here's one thing that we do see traditionally in the next model year is we always see like some type of technology change. Okay, so let's go to the C7. In 2014 to 2015, they changed the transmission from the 6-speed to the 8-speed. So that was a change. That was the big thing. Performance data recorder also came out in 2015. So then we moved to 2016. What changed in 2016?
My favorite change, the forward-facing cameras.
Correct. And then after 2016, what changes do we have?
Has there been any?
Nope, zero. There hasn't been any changes. So they typically will put those changes in the first couple years and be done. So do we see a new change? I don't know what it would be. I said the same exact thing in 2013 and 14. What are they going to change? Because I was thinking about getting a second-year car. And we didn't. We waited for the third year. And I'm glad we waited for the third year. I think the third-year car, 2016 C7, is the best year car that they have, including the Z06. Z06. When I talk on Siri, I have to say Z06 because she wants to write OH. So when we look at the Z06, I think the 16 Z06 is the best year as well because they had some overheating issues in 2015. I think those overheating issues were blown way out of proportion, but that was the issues, and they made that change on that supercharger a little bit bigger. Top end of that supercharger for cooling aspects, and we haven't had the issues since. So I don't know. Does anybody have any speculations on what they could possibly bring out from 2020 to 2021 new technology? They're obviously going to have a color change. That's normal, but I'm talking about what could they put in this car from 20 to 2021? You have any idea?
Nope. Not right now.
I don't either, but I
haven't had enough time behind the car. Yeah, behind the wheel because somebody's hogging the car.
And like I said, I had the same thing with 2014 to 2015. I never would have envisioned the PDR coming out. It was something that was not made up. It was not nothing. It wasn't invented yet. I guess I don't think there was any cars out there with it. So it'll be interesting to see what we have in 2021.
And do you think? Because this was asked, we've already answered like about the Z06 not possibly coming out till 2022. What about the Grand Sport? Do you think they're going to try to offer a Grand Sport for 2021, or you think that's going to hold off?
No, they won't. They won't do that until after the Z06 comes out. I mean, if you look at tradition, Z06 comes out that.
The wide body.
Yeah, the wide body, the Grand Sport comes after the Z06. So yeah, they won't do that. Austin texted me on my personal cell phone. The best number to text is the number on the screen. So
and I'm trying to get there.
Yeah, we got a lot of questions. So we want to go an hour tonight. We may not go. It may be longer, but our goal is an hour. Austin says my build is currently setting at 3,400 with a VIN of 3633 and original TPW of 316. Are you projecting an April 14th reopen of Bowling Green? How many cars will they be producing each day? I'm sure I will still meet the 2020 year. Been waiting for years for a car. Just seeing what your opinion is. Thank you. So yeah, it's really goofy with, we're going to be a month behind again, right? So now we're 90 to 120 days behind schedule with the car. It's crazy. Like I said, not throwing anybody under the bus, not saying anything negative, just telling you what it is and what my thought process is, which I'm free to do. But it just sucks. It really does. So we're another month behind. So if they open up in April, say they opened up on April 15th, then I would say with his build, what he just mentioned, that I would say by the end of April it'd be built. But so because the stuff with 3.9 was going slow, the stuff of 3, that would be 16, right? 7 and 9, man math.
It doesn't
So
matter. Anything in March
yeah,
didn't seem to get produced on the weeks that were stated.
yeah. So my used car manager has a car that was supposed to be built the week of 3.9, and it didn't get built. So his car is just waiting. And then I had a really good customer of mine whose car was supposed to be built the week of 3.9. It didn't get built the week of 3.9, but it got built the week after, which doesn't happen very often. It's pretty rare that happens. So,
and then they're lucky it got built because, right, it was like
the day after,
316 or 3.
yeah, the day after it got
that
built,
they closed
yeah, the day
down.
after they got built, they shut the plant down. So kind of interesting.
Okay. Had a question about right-hand drive.
Yes, I've seen that.
Do you think it's still going to happen?
So,
I think I've seen something about 2021 being right-hand drive.
Yeah, that's what I saw too. And then someone from Australia hit me somewhere, and I read it. And if I change my screens, I lose it, and that's what happened. So I apologize for not reaching out to you. Maybe you're the person in Australia asking, but which it's 7. It's like 10 a.m. there. So the I haven't seen anything about them canceling the right-hand drive car, so I think they're still going to do it. I think it's really cool that they do it, but I haven't read anything, and I haven't even seen the rumors of it. But that doesn't mean anything because I don't really pay much attention to rumors, and I really try not to read into clickbait articles. So people, you got to remember that all of these articles you see on the internet, some of them are clickbait, and there's one purpose of it for you to gain views for their Google AdSense. I get it. I'm not hating. It's that, don't hate the player, hate the game. And that's part of their job, is to get you to go to their article. So I think some people write articles that are not always the most honest, and they just put things out there. So like, I've never seen anything about bent frames on the Z06 from any of my contacts. I've never heard that. And like, somebody left, from the story I heard, was somebody left the Z06 left, and there was broken glass on the ground, but it wasn't really from the Z06. So it's just goofy things. I heard that on C8 and the Z06, but just goofy things.
Okay. And of course, back to like production of 2020s and stuff. Somebody said, I ordered my C8 on March 10th. Do you think I'm still going to get a 2020? Now, that would
ordered. I don't know what the ordered means.
Yeah.
I mean, did they give their deposit to the dealership on March 10th? Then no, you definitely aren't going to be getting a 2020. Did your order go from 1100 status to 2000 status on March 10th? You'll probably get a 2020 then. Did you go to 1100 status on March 10th with your dealership? It just depends at that point of how many orders are in front of you, and stuff like that. So again, there's a lot of up in the air stuff, and I think I'm just like anybody else. This has been in a very emotional roller coaster, and there's many mornings I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, stressed out over this car, that I'm spending this money on this car, and it's not coming, or whatever the case may be. Is the car shipping yet? I get up and I check inside GM's system. Nope, it's still 3,800 status. So it's stressful, and it's up and down, and everybody who's buying this car is done something in life to earn the right to buy this car. So it's really interesting, and like I said, it's very emotional, and I feel for it. And that's, again, I'm not patting myself on the back or being narcissistic or anything like that. Arrogant, I think, is the word too. But I think that's what makes me a damn good Corvette salesman, is I get it. I understand. That's why I don't get mad when people bug the hell out of me. Sometimes people do. And there's been a time that, I deleted a customer. I'm like, here's your money back. I'm not dealing with you anymore. You've crossed the line with me, which takes a lot for me to happen. That takes a ton for me to happen. But I was just done with that customer, and it's like, see you, bub. You're out. Good luck getting to 2020. And, but I get it 100%. And that's why I love, that's the drive behind me, is the love of this car, is to get that. And today, um, I delivered a car down to the museum, and this kid was 6 years old, this, the son of the dad. And you'll see my joke coming up in a video next week. But the uh, just watching the kids with this car, it was so fun. 6 years old and 4 years old. It was so fun watching these kids today, having dad and mom take delivery of the C8. It was just a blast. And so eventually, when you get to that point that you're, okay, finally I got my car, right? So I had all this drama on my car and people making up stuff, which I appreciate them making stuff up, because I made 3 videos on it, and those videos did really, really well for me. But the all that drama is there. But you know what? Now that I've got the car, I've forgotten all about that weight. I've forgotten all about that stress. I'm relaxed and I'm there. And that's what's going to happen with everybody else who's sitting here waiting on a car and stressed out about the car, and all the drama, internally drama, right? You don't have the social media drama that I've got, which I deal with pretty well. But yeah, that's the key thing to remember, is it's going to come, and it's going to be a blast, and it's going to be totally worth the wait and totally worth the emotional up and down. That's what I've learned in just the week that I've had the car.
Okay, now let's talk about these statuses, because a lot of people are asking, somebody put GM accepted my order on February 13th. Do you think I'll get a 2020? Somebody else has, I'm at 3,300. Do you think it's going to be a 2020? I've seen somebody say they were at 3,000, and do you think it's worth them trying to hold off, which I don't think you can actually hold off to a 2021 once you're at 3,000.
Right. That's
so
correct.
Let's talk about these statuses. What does 3,000 mean?
So 3,000 just means, put me on the spot here to remember what these mean. 3,000 is accepted to production control. So, but if you have an order status of 2,000 or greater, which 2,000 status would be like yesterday or today, anybody who's like last week had an order put in, you're well past, you're at 3,000 status or greater. But if you had your car at 2,000 status or better, then you most likely are going to get a 2020. So it's just a matter of time and when. But yeah, 2,000. If you're 2,000 status, you should be good for a 2020, which is exciting to know. But yeah, just be patient, and you'll be good on a 2020. Next.
You're putting me on the spot because.
Oh, was I too quick? I wasn't long-winded?
No, you weren't long-winded, and I was trying to get something written down. Okay, so I know. I love this question. Electric. Do you think the C8 is going to go electric?
I will just say that I can't answer that.
I will say that I hope it does, and will be first on the list to be buying one with his money, of course.
First on the list.
Uh-huh.
So
with your money.
Kevin. Oh, Kevin's local. Kevin, she handed me a note with your name on it, Kevin, so you know who I'm talking about. T1Q is the last of your order number. You are currently at 122. You're very, very, very questionable of getting a 2020. So you're a local guy. I'd rather get you your order in, but it's who anticipated this stuff. So we'll see what April brings us with the orders, but I'll keep you in the loop, buddy. Promise you. Next one.
Somebody asked if you saw TJ Hunt's video about the 5 worst things about the C8. Top one was the car won't do burnouts or donuts.
No, did he do a video like that? Gosh,
he must have. I don't know.
Dang it, TJ. I'm texting him right now. What is his deal? That's going to be like, I don't watch a lot of YouTube, right? So I'm on YouTube, I'm on social media a lot, but I really don't watch it because I want my stuff to focus on my stuff. I don't want to copy anybody. So if I do something that somebody else has done, it's not because I watched their video. So gosh darn it, TJ Hunt. So, but yeah, that was going to be a video that I was going to do as well. And I'm not going to watch his video, but I agree with him that the not being able to do the burnout is really, really interesting. So, and we're not talking, and I know a lot of people have said that Cletus did a burnout. Cletus did not do a burnout. and I know Garrett really well. I know that whole group really, really well. And he did a launch with the car, and he did donuts with the car. He did not do a standing burnout where the front wheels are sitting there not moving and the back wheels are 150 mile an hour wheel speed. So he did not do that. I think it's impossible to do in this car. I've got an idea how to make it happen. So maybe if I can get the cojones to do this, that I will be the first person in the world to do a standing burnout in a C8. We'll see.
And, back to these production questions. The convertible. Convertible was set to be starting production April 1st, I believe you've said.
Yep.
So what do you think is going to be happening with that, and will they end up being 2020 models?
So that's been a thought process of mine. That was some things I was talking off camera to some coworkers. Is what are these convertibles going to do? So I think we're going to have 2020 convertibles, and I don't think that's going to be an issue. But it's going to be very limited 2020 convertibles. So I think the convertibles that we have in there now that are at 2000 status or greater are going to get built. Yeah, it's gonna be difficult to get convertibles. 2020 may be the year to have a car, because I think that there's gonna be, I don't know, I don't want to say this number. So we have about 2,500 built right now, and we are February, March. We're only 2 months in. I bet we don't have 15,000 cars for this year for 2020. So 2020 may be the year. 2018 is the year to have for a C7 because there was 1,000 or something like that.
2018.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said 2019.
Oh, I think I said 2018. I meant 2018 for sure.
Maybe I was just not hearing because you weren't speaking into your mic. And we've had somebody ask, and of course this is hard to pinpoint an answer, but how long do you expect the C8 run to go? So C7 was only 5 years long.
No, it was longer than that.
6,
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 6 years.
Okay, 6 years. I'm going off of what somebody wrote,
yeah.
not.
No, you're good. So I think we'll go 7 or 8 years with this car. So I think that's what it'll be. So we'll see what happens. If somebody down the road, and all of a sudden cars start changing what they look like, then they're gonna have to regroup and do things. But I would think 7 or 8 years on this car. And if you look traditionally speaking, 6 to 7 years is usually what a body style does. And Corvette doesn't do refreshes. Corvette strictly does whole new body style. So if you look at a C5, if you look at a C6, if you look at a C7, they didn't change anything throughout the model years. They only enhanced it with a wide body Z06 Grand Sport, right? They didn't change the front end the way it looks. So if you go to an Impala, or if you go to an Equinox or a Malibu or something like that, later in the model years, they'll do a enhancement, right? Camaro's a prime example, right? So Camaro, they did an enhancement the way they look like on the Gen 6. We had 16, 17, 18. We had one way, and then 19, they made that huge front fascia change. So that's what they do on those cars. They don't do that on Corvette. So I would say probably 7 years max on this car. Max.
Okay. And we've had a couple questions about Z51. Is Z51 needed if you're going to track your car? And also, somebody asked earlier, very early on in this live stream, whether or not you could add Z51 after the fact.
Okay, so Z51 you cannot add after the fact. I mean, I guess you probably could. It'd be very, very expensive. A heck, a lot more than $5,000 of what that gets you. But because you can always add onto your cars, right? I mean, anybody can do anything. But traditionally speaking, no, you can't add Z51 after the fact. And then Z51 to track the car, yes, you absolutely need Z51 to track the car. And what I was told, I don't know if this is accurate or not, that if you take your car on the track and it's not Z51 and you're doing track driving, your warranty is void. I did have a representative of GM tell me that. I have not seen that anywhere else, but a representative of General Motors did tell me that. So if you do not have Z51, do not go out and start pulling 3/4 of a G with this car. It's not designed to it if you do not have Z51. And if something were to happen, which would be catastrophic, right? It would be a catastrophic failure on your car. And they go in, they pull the computers, and they see that you're, doing track maneuvers in your car. They ain't going to accept your warranty claim. They're going to decline it. So just be careful. That's why everybody gets Z51, because everybody thinks they need Z51 when they don't. But yeah, if you're going to once a year track it, make sure you get Z51.
Okay. And we had a couple questions about museum delivery. If, with the current situation, say you had museum delivery for your car, but you can't physically get to the museum because flying's limited, everything's limited, can you have it shipped to your dealer?
So, I don't know that answer. That's a really, really good question. So I would work with the museum on that. Shane is amazing, that handles all the museum deliveries. Shane's an awesome guy. I would definitely work with him and figure that out. But you can always, I guess you could probably change it. I bet somewhere, somehow they would be like, hey, listen, we need to change the shipping, because like literally if the car is built at the museum, at the factory, and you're like at the last minute want to do museum delivery, they can change that. So I would say that they probably can. But you need to do it before it was invoiced, is what I would say.
And okay, let's go back to talking about the convertible. Somebody, I don't remember if this was earlier today, talking about how the window over the engine allows for water to get in there. And so somebody was asking if the convertible is going to have holes or something to allow water to get into the engine like it does during a car wash, rain, whatever.
Yeah, so the convertible has what looks like what the current Camaros have on their hoods. So they've got these hood extractors on the over the engine, so water can get in those extractors, but there's not all those little itty bitty holes in the deck lid, I guess you would call it, the bonnet. You don't have those in there for a massive amount of water to get in. So like I washed my car today. I took it through a touchless car wash because I was going to Bowling Green, and the amount of water that got into the engine compartment was crazy. And like I said, back in December when I was out in Nevada, it rained all day long, and I saw how much water got in there for the rain. And this is the first time I saw it with the car wash. So it's kind of interesting, but yeah, water is definitely going to get down there, and it is what it is. I mean, current car, every car on the road gets water in the engine bay, and there's nothing wrong with it. But I know how Corvette owners are. We like our cars to be pristine and spotless, and we go to car shows and all that stuff. But yeah, there's going to be some water getting there. I think a lot less, because there's that metal tray underneath the deck lid. So we'll have to see. I haven't seen that yet.
And we've had a couple of comments. I don't know. Are mics being too low?
That's crazy that people say that.
I mean, our mics are at the exact same level each and every time.
I mean, if I turn these things up anymore, I'll just turn them up more. I mean, mine is crazy high. So I don't know, but I just saw somebody comment on this comment, and hopefully he's still here. It was 2 minutes ago. You got a question that you can answer? I got to run out to the slot machine and get something.
Really?
Yeah.
You have to leave me?
Okay, give me.
There's not any questions on here I can answer. They're all Corvette related.
All right, give me 5 seconds.
Oh my goodness. Jeez, he's crazy. So, yeah, guys, I don't know a whole heck of a lot. And he did put the camera on me.
I dropped it. Look, now check this out. Like, this guy just commented in here, and I hope this blows his mind away. I don't even know what his question is. Have you talked, but okay. Check this out. This is a 750 North hat. I still have it, and he sent this to me in the mail. So thank you for the hat. I still have it, and it's sitting right out here. I was gonna wear it the other day. I dropped it when I was coming in. I dropped it, but
you're crazy. But you are crazy.
I am crazy. I am a little crazy. So, but I saw him comment on here, and it's awesome that he's in here. But yeah, so I still have your hat, which I appreciate.
And
So he asked the question, something about my colleagues and selling C8s.
are you guys selling any new cars other than C8s?
We're selling cars, so we're being really really adaptive on it. And basically, what we're doing is curbside service. So you have to do all the work over the phone, over the internet, and you're not allowed to come in the dealership. So they'll do everything outside. Oh, now I'm winded because I sprinted out there.
somebody obviously hasn't listened to some of our podcasts. How long have you been working with him or married to him? Well, let's see. I've been working for you as your assistant for 6 years now,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
crazy. Yeah.
I kind of got tired of we'll just say there was a lot of changes with the hierarchy of my job, and I was fed up with it. So,
And it was like a part-time job to kill the day, right? It wasn't something that we
it was
needed.
a part-time job I actually enjoyed having.
It wasn't something that you needed to do. It was something that you just enjoyed
I like
doing.
being in control of things. And
you do?
Yes.
That's shocking. I didn't know that.
And so, yeah, I've been working for him for about 6 years, but we've been married going on 21 in June, and we have actually been together going on 27 years.
I think Portia is outside.
Yes, I need to go get her.
You can go get her, and I'll answer a couple questions. When I ran out there, I heard her barking, and Portia's our dog, and they were supposed to be in the house. One's in here, was laying at my feet, and then when I ran out there to get 750 Norse hat, I heard her barking at the front door, which we hate the dogs barking. So we try not to do that. So, no, we appreciate everybody being here. It's somebody said the mics are fine. I turned them way up right now, so I don't know what's going on with them. So I've had a couple people say that, but everything I got is good high dollar stuff. So can someone give me a link to Google? It's google.com. Did Rob talk smack about Mike when he came to pick up the C8 he already sold? Rob? Who's Rob? Rob? I think Rob is Andrew's friend that came with him. I'm horrible with names.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't there,
so.
But I know somebody had asked on one of your videos. It was a comment about how we got the name Portia for our dog.
Oh yeah.
When we own Corvettes and you're a Chevy salesman. So pretty much, we'll just say this. As a teenager, I was in love with Porsches. Always wanted a 911. And when we were looking at getting a Boxer and everything, Mike jokingly says, we should name it Portia. And I turned to him, I said, yep, that will be her name. And so, I mean, it's just kind of a running joke, Portia Boxster. And so she's a boxer. So we named her Portia. But then our other dog is Corey. And we had Portia's talking. We had a Facebook post on, can you name our new boxer? And somebody said, name her Corvette and call her Corey for short. So we went ahead and did that. So Corey is technically our Corvette dog.
Yeah, correct. What are you doing, Portia? What are you doing?
Yeah, Portia's trying to talk.
She's trying to get Corey to play. All right, you got another question we can ask? I'm glad we said this story.
You made me go do stuff and I had to...
Oh.
Okay, will modifying my exhaust void my warranty?
Not really. So, if you do headers, it brings into some question. But
what about what Street Speed did?
I'm not sure exactly what he did. He told me, but I know he took the exhaust. I know he took the exhaust off, but I think if you don't mess with the headers, you're fine because you have the Magnuson-Moss Act that protects you. But at the same time, it's GM versus the world, and GM's got more money than any of us do. So if they tell you no, I mean, how much money are you going to spend to fight to get a $7,000 engine or a $10,000 engine? You're going to spend, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 to get a $20,000 engine fixed, So it's really just comes to that. But like with my extended warranties, So I'll kind of tell you this with my extended warranty is if you mod your car, you still have that warranty in place. It's not going to cover the modded part, but it'll cover everything else. So if you mod your engine, you put headers on it, you put turbo, you put nitrous on it, and the radio goes out, you're protected on the radio. You're not going to, if you blow up your engine because you put nitrous on it, then, you know, you're not going to be covered on your engine because of that. But everything else on the car, you know, say the shocks go out. Okay. The shocks are covered for a certain amount of time. The shocks are going to be covered under my company's extended warranty. So you just got to be careful. I'm on my cars and and I know that like we still have a warranty on our C7 Corvette, even though I've put headers on it. So I know that if something happens to the engine that I may not get it covered, but if something happens to my radio, then my radio is going to be covered.
Okay. Mid-engine Matt said, do I need Z51 package for everyday driving on the street?
No, you don't. If you're not going to track it, don't get Z51. So everybody always asks me, what's the best vehicle for resale value? There's not like, yeah, some people are like, hey, I want Z51 because that's what's commonly talked about. But I'll sell a non-Z51 car just as fast as I would sell a Z51 car in the used car market. You know, the old expression is there's an ass for every seat. So, so you can go there and get a Z51 car or a non-Z51 car just because they'll buy, people will buy it. Used car buyers are out there.
And I gotta love this comment. So you're allowed to sleep with your assistant?
I am. head to toe.
I mean, I don't get paid, so I mean, I guess I'm not technically the employee. I don't know what you want to call me. But and then Scott Baker said, "Hey Mike, what about the people who have not confirmed their order on your list?"
Scott might be a customer. He's on my list. No, I'm just saying, yeah, I know he's on my list. So if you're talking about confirmed as in like, hey, I'm getting ready to move your car to 2000 status, because here's what I do with all my customers. And I think this is the way every dealership should work, right? I hear so many concerns from dealerships like, hey, I put my order in, but they won't let me change it. And they're at 1100 status. It's total BS, you know? So the way I do my stuff is $1,000 deposit. When I put your order in, it's $4,000 additional. At that point, it becomes non-refundable. The $1,000 is refundable anytime before you give me the additional $4,000. So when I call you and say, hey, listen, it's time to put your order in, you have 4 options. You have option 1, yes, let's go forward, let's do it. 2, give me my money back. 3, I need to wait. And that waiting could be for any reason you have. Some people don't want to take a car delivered in the middle of winter. Mike, I really want to do my order more like February, and it's November right now, right? So I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll hit you up in February, or better yet, you hit me up in February so I don't forget. I always put it up back on you guys. And then 4th, like, hey, listen, I want a higher horsepower car. Those are the only 4 options when I call you and say, hey, listen, I need $4,000 more. And then at that point, the whole $5,000 becomes non-refundable. And everybody knows this. It's all transparent. And you actually sign a form that says it's non-refundable. So, so then we just wait. And then what I do is when I'm getting ready to move your car to the next status, which would be 2000 status, I communicate with you and it's like, okay, I'm getting ready to move your car. Do you want to make any changes? Yes, no, fine, perfect. If it's yes, we make those changes. If it's no, then fine. I have you sign off on your order one more time and your order goes through. If you want to make a change after we put your order in and I take your $4,000 additional, we do not make any changes until we go to 2000 status. The reason I do that is to minimize the opportunity for mistakes and to minimize communication with people, because I was there. Again, why I think I'm a good salesman, because I get it. I want to change my order 5 times. I want to change my order 3 times. How many times did I change my order? We talked about it, right?
We talked about changing it.
Yeah.
But we didn't physically change it.
Well, the night before I changed it to silver. The night before that we put our order in, I changed it to silver. I'm like, oh, shoot. I can't do silver. Silver's on constraint, right? So I almost made that mistake for myself. So with that being said, I don't want mistakes like that to happen. So I wait. So we had a conversation with someone that, hey, I made this change, this change, this change. The guy made 5 or 6 changes with his dealership. And with that being said, the dealership took off magnetic ride control. The customer didn't catch it, and it was the front lift. It was the front lift or magnetic ride control. The customer didn't catch it. The dealership didn't know. Well, his car is being ordered without that option. And so there was a mistake. And so if I make those changes 4 or 5 times between 1100 status and 2000 status, it opens up the risk for opportunity to do it. So basically, it's just a big waiting game. And with Scott's, if this is the right Scott, Scott, you're, oops, I got a bunch of Bakers.
I remember seeing him on the list.
Yeah, where's his name at? Scott. We got a bunch of Scotts too. Oh, maybe that's not. Maybe I refunded that Scott Baker money. I did have a Scott Baker, so I must have refunded that Scott Baker. But and what was the question? I want to make sure I answered it correctly. I ranted there for a little bit, but I wanted to get the information out there because I thought it was
always rant.
I thought it was important. I really thought it was important.
It was just like, what about the people who have not confirmed their order on your list? So I would assume that it's.
So, I mean, the people who haven't confirmed, either it's not their time to order, or it's not time to do an order, or they haven't put in, I'm not going to move to 2000 status, but as soon as I can move it to 2000 status, I'll let them know. And then as soon as I know that, hey, the cutoff for 2020 is here and done, I'll let them know that, hey, listen, we're going to have to move your car to 2021, and I'll have to, work on that appropriately and accurately, to the best of my ability with my clients as well.
Okay. And we had a question about the cost of an oil change, the C7 versus the C8.
It should be about the same, if not a little cheaper. I just did my first oil change today, and it was $86. And I would have to, and this is employee cost, right? So I do get a little bit of discount on oil changes, but it only requires, you get charged for 8 quarts of oil, but it only requires 7.5 quarts of oil in the C8, where the dry sump C7 took 10 quarts basically. So it should be a couple bucks cheaper than the C7, I think. I've always told everybody to bank on a $150 oil change. So I think you can probably bank on $125 or so. I mean, I don't get that. I couldn't imagine I get that much of a discount. I was just shy of $90. So probably 120 or so bucks.
Okay, we've had a couple questions about the Z51 spoiler. Somebody asked if you get to keep the spoiler if you go with the high wing option, and then somebody else asked why the spoilers even put on if you end up ordering a high wing.
So that's a very good question. And after I just installed my own high wing spoiler, I have no idea why GM does not install this high wing spoiler from the get-go. It's not taller than the car. I don't know the risk of the spoiler getting damaged in transit. So I don't know, but this spoiler putting on is a pain in the butt.
It was more a pain to get off the old spoiler than actually installing the high wing.
Yeah, the old spoiler, getting it off because it's double-sided tape on there, you have to really work at it and to get it off, heat it up and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know why they don't just put the high wing spoiler on, and when you pay for the high wing spoiler, you just don't even get the Z51 spoiler. I would prefer it that way, but you do get both spoilers. So you get the Z51 spoiler and the high wing spoiler. So like my customer today did black high wing spoiler, but he did body colored Z51 spoiler. He didn't pay the $100 to change the mirrors in the spoiler to carbon flash. So he had a white Z51 spoiler and he's got a carbon flash high wing spoiler, which good. Thankfully, I'm glad they were able to do this, that the museums now can put the high wing spoiler on, but it's not easy. It's there's a 10 millimeter bolt up there. And I talked about it in my last video, which is where I got all these scratches and stuff. There's a 10 millimeter bolt up there. That's really, really, really tough to get to because there's like an oil canister or something there. I don't know what it is. It's got 2 lines coming out of it, and they got braided. They're braided lines. So I don't know what they do, but it's really tough to get a ratchet up there and undo it if it's manual or electric ratchet. I have an electric ratchet, but it's very, very difficult to do.
Yeah, you made me put the little nut back on it.
Yeah, the 10 millimeter. Yeah, I had you do it because you got smaller hands and you were able to get it up there. I could not get my hand up in there to twist it, and I really had to use my ratchet and kind of move those braided wire lines around to get up there, which I was scared to do damage on those lines, but it is what it is.
Okay. We've had a couple questions about 1, 2, and 3 LT.
Scott Baker just texted me.
Somebody wanted to know if you thought the 1LT in the future would have the front lift available for purchase.
No, it will not. The wiring on the 1LT is different than what's on the rest of the on the 2s and 3s. So no, you will not. That's why it's not an option. If you decide that you want to do navigation on the 1LT, that you don't get the front lift.
And then the question says, can you clarify 3LT interiors? Some of the entire color is distributed, others partial. So I'm assuming it's kind of like on ours where you see that extra splash of tension blue up on the dash, and like on the reds. And then we've talked about the steering wheel having the one little stripe of color and everything. So some of them is just, like red. Red interior has a black dash. And then you have some little bits of red thrown into the dash and all that type of stuff. Our tension blue, we did the tension blue with twilight blue, and that has a nice, I like it, splash of tension blue up on that dash, but the rest of it is a nice twilight, almost navy blue. Basically some of the boring colors just are all one color.
Right.
And
you're
boring.
Right. I know I couldn't find Scott Baker and text me back if this is wrong, Scott. Oh, you know what? Oh, wait. I've got you on my Z06 list twice. That's the issue. So yeah, we need to talk after this, Scott. Just call me. When I get off, just call me and I'll answer the phone. I moved you over to my Z06 list, and now I see I have you on there twice. 12720 and then 73019 submission date. So I might have screwed something up there, but just call me. You haven't lost anything. You're good on everything. People that I'm putting in orders for now are right about your date. So it was perfect timing that you were on this and up there. So I'm like 719, 720 is where I'm at, and you were 730 with your initial submissions. So yeah, let's talk after that, Scott. I don't want to screw that up. I got you on my Z06 list twice, but
we have a question about fog lights. Do you think fog lights will be a now I can't talk. Thanks a lot.
Yay.
Do you think fog lights are going to be a change on the C8 similar to the it says similar to the C8R, but I haven't seen, I guess, the racing car. I don't pay attention to the racing car at all.
So no, there's not gonna be any fog lights on this C8. The C8 has all those lights on it for various reasons. I don't know all the reasons. I know one of the colors is because of the class they're in, but I think just because they're traveling so fast and driving at nighttime that they have all those extra lights to be able to see better. But and I think it's just part of IMSA rules that they have those lights. So yeah, we're not going to see fog lights on a C8 or any Corvette.
You got to stop
you see
away
what,
from that
you see why
microphone.
I don't know why they just did that. Like I didn't move much. Like I just moved back a little bit like this, and it still worked. So it's really weird.
You're moving too far away.
And I don't want to keep my mouth on it, but I have to do that.
Put that mouth on the microphone, mister.
So I was asked when will General Motors announce the new colors for the 2021 Mayish time maybe. So I don't know. We'll see.
And it'll be interesting to see what they really do, because 12 colors in the first place was a lot of options, and not exactly sure. Since they're not even getting through a whole lot of production.
Yeah. Definitely don't think we'll see 13, but we could see different blue.
But don't they normally do it based on whether or not they're running out of the paint?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know how they do it. I've never, they kind of have an idea that, hey, we're going to just make this much. I mean, I don't think they're running out of the paint because, you get paint touch up tubes for 15 years down the road, So, and you can pretty much you can make that paint up pretty easily.
Stop going away.
I didn't even move.
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
Okay. Super Autobot
Stop yelling at me.
said, I placed my order in August of 2019, and dealer told me my order was next for confirmation. If my order doesn't make 2020, will orders go to 2021 automatically to the top of the list? So I guess they're just asking, will they be at the top of the list for the 2021? But
and if it was my list, then yes, you'd be at the top. So that's not that's fine.
Ask your dealer.
Yeah, ask your dealer. But in my world, I do everything based off of when you submit your deposit.
Oh, I like this one. Do you think the engine appearance package is worth getting just for the engine bay lighting?
No, I don't think I don't think it would be for the lighting. I love the carbon fiber look, right? I mean, I'm a huge carbon fiber nut. I love the carbon fiber.
After seeing the lighting, because I really didn't get a chance to see the C8 much before production, before you even brought it home. And after seeing the little bit of lighting, I'm like, no, that is so stupid. I would rather see LED lights lining up the whole thing.
Yeah, so I think you hit the nail on the head. When they first announced that, that's what I was thinking they were going to do, is kind of have like the engine bay backlit. So when you're driving or you got to park somewhere, that's going to have a strip of LED lights in there, which I think would be sick that you could do that and have those lights shine down. But then I found out, that the lights were up there where they're at. So, but I wouldn't get it for the lights. I personally got it for the carbon fiber. That's why I got it. I could care less about those lights.
Somebody has asked this multiple times, and it's just not been the right time to ask. And I don't even know if you know the answer. The distance between the front splitter and the ground.
We will be doing a video on that. I don't know that answer yet, but we'll be doing a video on that. We're going to be doing a video.
And is that going to be before or after you put ground effects on?
I'm going to do it both.
Okay.
So you know how analytical I am. I want people to understand what the difference is. I knew that number at one time. I think it's like, no, I don't want to say. I knew the number, but it's not memorized in my head, because a lot of people were using on the touring cars, they were measuring them, and I was like, no, you can't measure those cars. Those cars are pre-production cars, and they're all setting higher for a reason. So somebody saw on my Instagram that somebody asked if I lowered my car on the Instagram post I did today with my car on the bridge. Somebody says, did you lower the front of your car? No, I did not. That's why, it's just all the models that you saw were pre-production stuff that was set much higher. And so I think that made it look really, really bad with that wheel gap in there. But now there's not much wheel gap in there at all, unless I hit the raise suspension button.
And 750 North, thank you for the $5.
Oh, hey, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
And we had a question. How do you go about towing a C8?
Yeah, that's a good question. I learned that when I was out in Nevada. So there are two tow hooks locations. There's one in the front and the one in the back. The one in the front is on the passenger side to the right of the license plate bracket. And then if you have the forward facing cameras, it's almost touching the passenger side camera. On the back, it's on the back driver's side. I'm pretty sure it's back driver's side. So, but if you tow the car, you want to flat tow it. You want to put it on a rollback.
Make sure you're calling for a flatbed.
Yeah.
There.
So you want to do that. And there's no difference of anything out there, strap it down. I personally think you should strap it down by the wheels. And then, if you are, without power, there is a process that you have to do in order to get that transmission into neutral. So if you do not have power, it's impossible to put that car in neutral. So what you have to do is take out the trunk liner, the back trunk liner, and then there's a tool, or you can put something down there. Again, I learned this back in December. and there's something you have to put down there in order to get the transmission into neutral manually. It's not easy to do. Same way with the transmission fill. So TJ Hunt is a prime example. And in my car too, I've had a couple service engine lights on mine that automatically reset. The reason we're getting service engine lights on our cars is because the transmission is not set up for track use. So if you're out there launching the car, you're doing donuts in the car and all that stuff, the transmission is going to set a code because it does not have the proper fill for the transmission fluid. So if you go out there and you start tracking the car, the process is to put 2 quarts of fluid in the transmission. So since those are 2 quarts low for everyday driving use, then you have to, then you're going to start throwing codes because it knows that. How it knows that, I have no idea. But it might get, it might be starving for transmission fluid or something, and so it throws the code. But with that being said, you just got to make sure you do that. So I think that's why the transmission.
I think you lost your train of thought there
I
because you ranted again.
No, my chat.
Scott Baker, thank you.
My chat. When you said that we had a super chat, I just realized my chat was not working.
Well, good thing mine is.
Yeah, my chat's working on my service, but it's not work. It wasn't working on the website. It was really weird.
And Scott Baker also made a comment about whether or not our setup uses phantom mic power on the mixer board, because that can make a volume difference.
I have the Blackmagic A10 Mini, and so I don't know.
So I don't know why, some people are having problems hearing. Turn up your volume.
This is all new to me. I literally have I'm using a Rode Caster Pro, the A10 Minis for video. I'm using a Rode Caster Pro for the mic. So the microphone, Rode pod mic. Oh, maybe this is the issue. That isn't. Oh, there we go. Now I got some feedback. I was changing things. All new stuff. Maybe I need to go. That's interesting. Maybe I need to go live private again and test that stuff out. So it's kind of interesting. So because I'm looking at these boards, and right now the Rode Procaster has got a Rode pod mic, which we're not using. We're using Shury's. So maybe I need to do something. Definitely rookie on this stuff, but I'm learning. This is like our 7th live stream, so nothing but positive feedback. I haven't seen one negative comment about the setup, right? Have you? No. I think it's going great, and we love the feedback. We love hanging out with you guys, especially since we're quarantined right now. That we just, what else to do? Let's talk about C8s. Everybody wants to talk about C8s, so we can talk about this.
Hey, we did have a text, and I've seen the comment in the live stream about, let me find this.
My customer, Mark Boyd, just texted and said, you guys sound fine.
Well, thank you. Let me find this comment.
Ben said he's looking for a 2017 Chevy SS. Good luck. Those things, man, what a great car. I'm so sad that Holden doesn't make those anymore, and Holden's really out of business, I think, now. But a 2008 Pontiac G8, man, get the GXP. Got to do the GXP on the G8.
So the comment was, Chevy dude, I'm a big fan. I've seen all your videos, but I miss your old content. I find myself skipping over your videos when it's about the vet. That's sad. At this point, you should change your name from Chevy dude to
Corvette dude.
To Corvette.
I've seen that before.
Yeah.
So I'd assume that the old content is just overall Chevy stuff, or just overall how not to get scammed, which is why we're doing the Tuesday night podcast, because I want to do that.
Exactly.
And
Tuesday nights are going to be talking about buying cars.
Yep.
Not C8s.
And I do miss, hey, here's a Silverado, here's this, here's that. But
there hasn't been anything.
The C8 has just been dominating everything. So my channel's always been with trending. Like I did a Trailblazer video 2 months ago. It flopped. It didn't do anything. So I gotta do videos that are worth my time, and I get a return on investment of my time. So that's all it is. It's nothing, if
I mean, right now, GM doesn't have anything big coming out.
Tahoes, I want to do video on Tahoe, but I had all that Tahoe stuff sitting right down here, and I didn't do a video on the Tahoe. When it first launched, I had this awesome book set up, and I just didn't do anything like I've done in the past. Just C8 stuff just dominated, and it's a super exciting hyper car.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of we've tried to do some stuff on our other cars, your K1500, the Tesla. Those videos don't do well, and if people don't want to see it, then we're not going to produce it as much and show that. So we appreciate, though.
Yeah, I love hearing OG fans talk about how they miss this stuff, and it's definitely stuff that I miss too. So so that doesn't go unheard of, and it's stuff that I think about. But it's just going out and getting the trucks, and what do I talk about again? Right? I did the differences between LT and custom. I've done differences on all the trucks from what's the difference? What do you get in an LT? What do you get into an RST? What do you get in an LTZ? I've done all those videos, so I really don't want to do them again and be redundant. Even though a couple of my videos I have redone with different context, but basically the same video, and they've shot off the roof. But a truck video is only good for 1 year, so nobody's gonna be Googling a 2019 Silverado 1500 right now. They're going to Google 2020, but it's not. They make little itty bitty changes from 19 to 20, and I can't just retitle that video 2019 to 2020. So if you go look at my storage video, I retitle that every year of, hey, how to store your 2020 Corvette, right? I'll do that or something like that, and rather than redoing it, and that way people are searching it and Googling it, that they get it.
Okay.
Did you hear your mic just cut out right there?
Yes, I did.
And you didn't really move. It's interesting.
New
stuff.
I didn't move at all. I'm just sitting here trying to find a comment that I was going to use, and I forget where it was now.
Someone said, "Are they going to do a C8R body kit?" I would love that. So everything on the C8R is custom made, and I believe handmade. So there's not like molds that they do or whatever the case may be. So with that being said, there's no mass production of these parts. They're like literally onesies, twosies parts based off the cars they have and accents they have and stuff like that. So yeah, they don't buy these parts off the shelf anywhere. They're basically made in house as needed. So I would love to have a C8R body kit. And if anybody, I know Street Hunter is gonna be doing a body kit, which I probably can reach out to TJ and ask him, hook me up with him. But I wouldn't mind doing the wide body kit on the car. I think it'd be cool, and maybe trigger a few people that don't like it and get a lot of people that do like it. So it all varies.
I now remember what the comment I was going to ask. Somebody asked if you were going to change your calipers red since you put the red engine cover on.
Nope. So that's everything on my car has been completely designed from the beginning, knowing that I was going to put a red engine cover on. And I said this in the last video, but what I didn't say on the video, I just had this conversation today, is, I grew up on welfare, on WIC, on, very poor. I always thought when I was young, I was the poorest person in the world.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking when I met you.
Yeah. So, my family still lives that way to this day. And so when I was growing up in the 80s, I was born in 77, so I'm an 80s kid, right? So, going through the 80s, and we had, what's the guy in Hawaii driving the Ferrari around?
Oh.
Magnum PI?
Yes.
Is that who it was? Okay. So, when he was driving around his Ferrari and all these other exotic cars, they all had red engines. So never in my mind did I ever think I was going to buy a $100,000 car in my life. Never, never, never. It's my first 6-figure car, and it's still stressful to this day that I've got to pay for this car. But so I was like, as soon as I built this car and I knew where I was going to be at price point and all this stuff, I'm like, I'm putting a red engine cover on this thing. And then GM came out, and voila, we have a red engine cover. And having that red engine cover and those red heads covers on there, it just makes that look beautiful. I was looking at it today. I'm like, wow, this is mine. This is so cool.
I will say the black standard engine cover doesn't do anything. It doesn't stand out. I mean, when you look in the back windshield, whatever, you don't see much of anything.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And they don't make a tension blue. They don't make the accelerate yellow for the engine covers. So you had to pick something, and red stands out.
Red stands out, but now I have this black one, and we can paint it whatever color we want. And I could paint it blue, right? Which I don't know if I want to do blue, but I could paint it red. And I made this comment that instead of saying Corvette there, it could say Chevy Dude, and make a custom Chevy Dude engine cover. I think that would be pretty cool. So, so you can do it. It's the customization's endless, right? And I don't want to make stuff look junky or off of Pep Boy's parts truck, but it would be cool to customize it. So if I could make a blue engine cover or a yellow one or whatever, blue and red go together, right? So you could put you have the blue in there and the red.
You didn't think so when ordering the C7 though.
Burn.
Because I wanted a Laguna Blue C7 with red interior, and you had a problem with that.
I know. And then we saw one. And I'm like, oops, we should have got that.
You kept telling me, no, that's not going to look good. And it sure as heck does look good.
Yep. That was the car business Mike thinking.
And, we ended up with a Long Beach red with black interior.
It looks good, doesn't it?
It looks good, but it wasn't my first choice.
If you don't like it, don't drive it. This is my car now.
Well, unfortunately, I can't get rid of the car now because manual transmission is dead.
Modern day outlaw. What's up, buddy? Is GM still delivering C8s? Yes. So I was just down there today, and there's not a whole lot of C8s in the lot, but they are delivering them, and they're delivering these pre-production cars as well. So hopefully they'll probably be out of C8s here soon. A month ago, they had 1,700 cars there, and they thought they were going to have to start parking cars somewhere else, and now they're probably going to be out of cars again, which is crazy that's there. Any more questions?
I like this one. If someone orders a strange color combination, do you try to change their mind?
So I don't try to change their mind. I just make sure I understand where they're coming from and just understand it, right? So and I think you just said it, that you wanted a blue car, red interior, and I was like, ugh.
And you had to do a color override because GM would not allow that combination without charging you extra money for it.
$400, which wasn't a big deal. So I was like, nah, we're not going to do that. So no, I try to listen to them, what their thought process is and what their theory is. And now GM has done a wonderful job with the online configurator, so you can kind of play around with that and see that. So I was doing a lot of stuff, and I saw one of the guys have an orange car with the blue interior. And I was like, I don't know. Then I talked to him, and he explained it. I'm like, maybe it does look good. And then I saw it, and it looks awesome. Orange exterior, blue interior. You'd think that that's god-awful ugly.
Yeah.
But it's good. I've seen it.
I've
it's
seen
good.
the pictures, and it's not horrible. It still would not be my first choice.
I don't think I would buy it either, but that kind of goes along with the question. Would I try to change their mind? No, I wouldn't change their mind. I just want to understand what their thought process is. So with my thought process, I did white, blue, yellow calipers, red interior, because I knew I was going to wrap the car. So we're going to wrap the car, and we're going to go around those colors, and I think it's going to look good once we decide on wrapping it. And we're going to have Skeppel design it, which Skeppel's down in Florida, which if you guys ever wrap anything or ever want anything designed, Skeppel is the guy to do stuff with. I've loved his work, and the reason I'm using him is because my friends with DDE, Daily Driven Exotics, that's who designs their stuff. And then PFS out there in California is the one who wraps the cars. So I can't get my car out to PFS, but I'm currently talking with Atlanta Custom wraps down in Atlanta, Georgia. So hopefully that works out well, and we'll whatnot. So Jordan Jackson, when do you anticipate the C7s to start to drop in price further? I thought that was that Jordan? I know they still seem priced about the same as before the C8. I was going for that
question next.
Good, perfect. So I was just thinking about this today with my with my 3-hour round trip drive to Bowling Green and back. I don't anticipate the way the C8 is launching right now. I don't anticipate the C7s dropping a penny. I actually think they're going to go up. So we'll see. You know, I monitor our car price all the time just to watch. And I was telling Gresham, who was hanging out with me today, I told him I sold my Camaro at the perfect time. I mean, it sucked not to have my Camaro from July till now. I was driving that K1500 and that thing's rocking a boat and it's got a lot of body roll and stuff like that.
You drove the C7,
so,
funny.
But having, yeah, it's me, Mike. But the, that was the perfect time to sell that car because now they're just dying right now in price. So I don't anticipate C7s dropping in price. And like I said, maybe going up with a short 2020 model year. And then if 2021s, which I'm hoping are going to be sold out like the 2020s, that means I'm selling cars at full MSRP, which is max profit, which is good. And profit's not a dirty word. And every business out there depends on profit. So if I can sell more C8s at MSRP, that's good for all of us. So what I'm hoping is these top 5, top 10 Corvette dealers don't start getting antsy and start discounting cars because that's not good for anybody's value of their car. So everybody who paid, you know, MSRP for their car, their value of their car is going to drop even quicker than, you know, than anything out there. They're going to lose the most money. Jordan,
Yeah.
are you working right now watching YouTube in your police car?
And
Jordan's a friend of mine. That's why I said earlier. I was like, "Is that Jordan I know?"
Yeah,
he's a police officer.
GT.
Yes, I see it.
PD.
He is. He probably is working right now.
Yeah, we've gotten over 500 miles, Jordan. So
800. Oh, 800. I got 800 today.
The car's broke in.
Come drive it.
You can have a little fun with the Chevy.
I did mention that, you know, people can sit in it and stuff like that. And I'm not letting anybody sit in it right now. Number one, I'm not at work because we're closed down because of the coronavirus. But when that stuff all dies down, I'll let people sit in it. But I was letting someone sit in it, and and this guy doesn't know me, right? He had no idea who I was. He just walked in the dealership, was like, "Can I see a C8?" Yeah, there's one out there. I let him sit in it, and when he sat in it, the very first thing he did, and then when he got out, he put his hand on my steering wheel and got out, and it just wigged me out. And I'm like, this dude just coughed in his hand. Who knows what's in his hand already? And I'm like, oh no. So I had to go in and wipe my car down. I'm like, okay. I told management, I was like, you think I'm being a jerk? They're like, nope, don't do it. Don't let anybody sit in your car. I was like, okay, we're done. We're done. Nobody's sitting in my car until this is done. And then I had a really affluent doctor contact me who's done business with our dealership before, but he's not my customer. And he's like, Mike, can I sit in your C8? I'm like, no, doctor, sorry, can't do it. And this guy's a cardiologist, and he's loaded and can buy anything he wants. And I told him, no, sorry, I'm not doing it until the coronavirus is done. And this is a guy I would not want to tell no, but I was like, you know what? If I make one exception, I got to make them all. So I was like, nope, sorry. When it's done, come sit in it. You can even drive it, but yeah, you're not sitting in it until this stuff's all done. It's not worth it.
And have you seen any Zeus Bronze cars being built yet?
No, because I got one of the first Zeus Bronze that should be built is my customers, and nope, it's I don't remember what the production date was. I think it was 3/16, which were passed, but yeah, nope, none built because that was on the 6 or 8 or 10 week hold. So they launched that. They let that come out afterwards, and after the strike that you could do it. So we got his in right away because he was one of the first. He was like before the unveiling, he had a deposit in, and he that's what they wanted. That's what they ended up doing. So when we first were able to put an order in, that's what they did. But yeah, that car's not built.
And what do you think about the C8 compared to a C7 Z06?
So now that I got 800 miles on my car, and I'm not going to say that I did or didn't be over 150 on the car. I think someone took my car and Luckily, I
Well,
have PDR.
Jordan says thanks for the taxes.
So the taxes are brutal. So yeah, I pay your taxes. You can't give me a ticket. So what was the question? I was looking up Mr. Cap's car. Yeah, 316 on the Zeus Bronze. He's doing a 2LT natural interior Zeus Bronze car, and that was supposed to be built the week of 316. So that was going to be the first week of Zeus Bronze. So it obviously didn't get done.
And the question was, do you like the C8
Oh,
better
over
than the C7 Z06?
So yeah, I don't have a whole lot of time in the Ceto Z06. I definitely have some good time and some race time and stuff like that. But now that I've got 800 miles in on this Corvette, and a little bit more, I got really close to probably 950 or so.
Yeah, I only have like 30 of those miles.
So this car, like I literally went to Bowling Green and back today, probably averaging 100 miles an hour. No cops are out. I didn't see one cop. They're not pulling people over. I'm not driving recklessly. There's nobody on the roads. And so I was down in Bowling Green in like less than an hour. So, but this car just floats. It just was so smooth and just so nice. And so it was really nice that I got to go down there and drive this and experience this, because now when people ask me questions like this, I'm going to be able to answer this a little bit better and with some really credence behind the answer. But the C8 rides completely different than the C7. And I think the C8, because I got magnetic ride control as well, magnetic ride control 4 that's on the C8 is designed differently than magnetic ride control 3 on the C7. And this magnetic ride control is designed for street driving, where magnetic ride control on the C7 was designed for track use. So it's much smoother. Since I have the My mode. So you have two different modes. You have a bunch of different modes, but we're going to talk about two of them. We're going to talk about My mode and Z mode. So My mode is basically how you want your car to react every single day that you get in it. If you want to lock in sport steering, magnetic ride control, soft, touring soft mode, stuff like that. Every day you get in it, and then you hit the Z mode on the steering wheel, which would be with your thumb. You would hit that, and now you can be like, hey, listen, I want to be in track mode and stuff like that, which I don't have that Z mode functionality down, because someone was playing with me a little bit on the interstate, and I went down and I reached over and I turned it to track mode, which I've got Z mode set up, but I could have just hit the button on Z mode and had my track settings that I wanted, and not needed the to hit the mode selector. So I still haven't programmed in my head that I can just hit a button and have all the settings I want rather than down here and turn in. But so it's kind of interesting. But the C7 and the C8 are definitely two different animals, and definitely when you turn this car and you're sitting so close to the front wheels now, that's a different feeling when I first got into it. And I don't know if I've ever said this before, but when I first got into the C8, because we have a C7 manual transmission, and because every C7, every Corvette out there has got a shifter control, even if it's automatic, but even if it's manual, but even if it's automatic, you traditionally will put your hand on it. And I fidget with a little bit and put my hand on it like this. Well, I go do that in C8, and I just do that. I'm like, oh, there's no shifter knob there. I got the buttons.
Okay. Magnetic ride control is definitely worth the extra money.
Yes. And Guy asked, did I notice the difference between the spoilers? And I didn't. I have not. So
I haven't driven it since the high wing spoiler.
But the good news is I know that I put the spoiler on correct. It's not
it
coming off.
Left the car.
It's not coming off. After I let my friend drive it today and how fast he went, which I'm really, really mad that he went this fast, but I got it on PDR. But I know it didn't come off. It's not wiggling. There needs to be a Cadillac version of the C8 Corvette. I don't know if they'll ever make anything to compete with it. Why? It's kind of like, I don't know why they would.
The XLR never.
Yeah, they did. Oh, that's right. I forgot about the XLR. So Cadillac had the XLR and the XLR-V.
Really do a whole lot.
Yeah, the Cadillac XLR-V was the first six-figure GM vehicle, and so they tried it, and it was built in the Corvette plant. And
they want Corvette to be their performance baby.
I think. Well, I don't know about that, because you have CTSVs and ATSVs and stuff like that, but they are relying on the Corvette. And I think people go out there, and since it's the longest running sports car in America, people look at a Corvette differently than they would look at an XLR, even though say, Corvette was 60 grand and XLR was 100 grand, right? They look at it different. It's just like you look at an Escalade different than you look at a Tahoe, right? Or a GMC over a Tahoe. Tahoe is the bottom person, but you go to a Yukon or an Escalade and people look up to that. You go to an Escalade, you get Alcantara all over everything. It's pretty sweet for 100,000.
Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up.
I think so.
And we've had a couple people who must have joined late in our stream asking again about 3000 status and whether or not they'd be safe for 2020 model year. And your answer?
Yeah, I think you're going to be safe. So we still have some unknown is when they're going to be back into production and how smooth production's going, and if they're building to capacity. I think they want to build 150 a shift. So that's 300 a day. So maybe when they come back from coronavirus, that they'll be back to full status and getting things done. So we'll just see. I hope they do. I want to see them pounding out 50, 55, 60,000 Corvettes a year. And that's what they want to do. They want to be 55,000 plus.
Jordan just sat there and asked about the C8 Z06. I think he's just hoping that you get one and can drive your cars.
Yeah, for sure. But no, I don't think the Z06 is going to be introduced until sometime 2021 for a 2022 model year. So which 2022 model year would be like July,
I would
August
say
time.
With the delays in production and the what seems to be a shortened production of 2020 and everything, they would hold off just because the hype is so great still for just the base Stingray.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I like it being called a Stingray still.
It is what it is. I don't care. It's still a Corvette, right? I mean, yeah, cool that they brought the old style Stingray back, but it's still a Corvette.
I like this. Your wife did an excellent job. Pay her. Yes. Pay me.
Pay me.
Right now I'm going crazy because I cannot get my hair colored, which is like one of his fun things. He always, like, if I sit there and say, I'm not getting paid anything, he's like, I pay for your hair color. I pay for your nails. I pay for this. I pay for that. Well, I can't get any of that done right now. So I want to know, what am I getting paid?
I don't know. I can't afford you anymore.
Obviously not.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks a lot for joining. We really appreciate it. Hour and a half in on this live stream. I think we had a really good success. I don't know how many people were on here tonight. Oh my God, 8,400 people.
Oh, good.
So
almost to that 10,000.
Yeah. So goal is 10,000. So we keep this up. We'll keep doing it every Friday nights, and we'll specifically talk on Friday nights about C8 and Corvette.
I want the kind of like ask anything. I mean, we didn't get to it, but somebody asked how we met and that type of stuff. I like that.
We can do Ask Anything. Yeah, I just did it today because we were talking about, everybody's been asking on the Tuesday night streams, which is dedicated, how to buy a car, how not to get screwed over by car salesmen, stuff like that. Everybody's asking C8 stuff, and which is why I say we need to ask on topic stuff. Well, tonight's a free flow. We can talk about anything.
Free for all.
But I thumbnailed it Corvette, right? C8 live or whatever. I thought that was a banger thumbnail. What do you guys think about the thumbnail? I thought that was awesome. Bill Clinton's on here. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I love Bill Clinton.
And Jordan's like, allowance incoming for Mrs. Chevy dude.
Oh, he's even got a cigar in his mouth. Oh no, it's a saxophone. That's awesome. Love Bill Clinton.
Hey,
Donald Trump's
Jordan
been on
says
here
give me
before.
an allowance.
I say
give me something.
So, all right, guys. Well, we really appreciate you being on here. It's awesome having you join in. 8,400, almost 8,500 people now. It's so awesome. But as always, from Mrs. Chevy Dude.
Oh, me?
Yep. And Mr. Chevy Dude, we appreciate you being here. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day and drive safely.